Welcome to the Write Your Own Story podcast. I'm your host, Betsy Leonidas, and the founder of the Write Your Own Story company. Girl, I can tell you right now, you are definitely enough. Here we value service, sisterhood, connection, laughter, and that super genuine, keep it real, tell you like it is honesty. My hope is at the end of each episode, you realize you can do whatever it is you dream about and that you are not alone with what you struggle with. I'm hoping that you are snapping and clapping and hell yes in your way through each one of these episodes. So if this tracks with you, let's get started. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome everyone back to the latest episode of the Write Your Own Story podcast. I'm your host, Betsy Leonidas, and I am so excited today to be talking about something that has been on my mind for truly a year now. I think it's really relevant to all the other women out there. So I'm so excited to share the concept of feminism meets feminine energy. So I think, hopefully after listening to the show, you realize I am a feminist. I'm extremely independent. I'm a single mother of 4. I'm a business owner. I'm a CEO. All of these things are core to my identity. And I pride myself because they are a reflection of my values. But I got to a point in life where I was living life in such a way with these sort of titles and roles where I just couldn't go on another day living life the way I was, which was pushing and from a place of strength and from a place that felt inauthentic to the core of who I am. And I was craving this softer, more in flow, more relaxed and peaceful version of myself, of which I'm defining feminine energy. So this notion of feminine energy has been floating its way across my feed, and I've just been so curious about it. So for the past year, I've truly been just researching it and sort of practicing it and, like trying it on and all this stuff, because it is really core and innate to who all of us girls are. Yet we live in a society where we are given pride based, and our worth has been defined based on, how hard you have pushed, what you have accomplished, whether it be in a day or in your career. You don't get promoted unless you worked harder, faster, smarter. And it has just created this level of angst and anxiety in me that doesn't need to exist. I will never stop being a feminist. I will never stop being wildly independent. I will never stop taking immense pride knowing it is my calling to be a single mother of the 4 most beautiful humans I've ever laid eyes on. I know I'm biased. And I will never stop being so dedicated to a company and a business and to the service that I intend to provide to my community. But I had to show up in a softer, more gentle way in order for me to keep going. And I'm so excited to share this notion of sort of balancing feminism and feminist energy and what it means to be in feminine energy. So I'm going to read a little bit here again. So what is feminine energy? By definition, feminine energy is often described as the intuitive, nurturing, and receptive aspect of energy that exists in all people, regardless of gender. It is associated with qualities such as creativity, empathy, flow, emotional depth, connection, and being rather than doing. Whereas masculine energy is linked to structure, logic, and action. Feminine energy thrives in presence, intuition, and receptivity. It is the energy of creation, relationships, and emotional intelligence. In a balanced state, feminine energy allows for deep connection with oneself and others, self-care, and trust in life's natural rhythms. Too much or too little of it can lead to issues like overdependence, lack of boundaries, or emotional instability. But the balance is truly what we are all striving for. Okay, so I knew that I was not the only one who is curious about, especially as we get into our 40s and we have, raised these small, tiny human babies into teenagers and teenagers. We have climbed the corporate ladder. We have grown families. We've grown relationships, and and life has happened. Life is lifed, right? And we've all come to this point where it's like, oh my God, I need to take a breath and I need to soften and I need to reconnect to who I am. It's probably why my entire feed is filled with your cortisol is too high. You live in such an anxious state. Maybe it is because we are disconnecting from the core energetically of who we are, and that of which is feminine. So I did some research around what are really the 5 main broader buckets or reasons as to why women are so curious about feminine energy right now, because I have a feeling I'm not alone on this one. Burnout from hustle culture. Ooh, do I feel that one? So this notion of operating in a highly engaged, high energy, always on, quote unquote, masculine way, it's exhausting us because it is not innate to how we are intended to be. So we are looking for a more balanced approach that allows flow, intuition, and creativity. That doesn't mean we're giving up our seat at the table. That doesn't mean we're not being CEOs. That doesn't mean that we're not pushing for the careers and the goals and the objectives that we have and are so passionate about. That means that we're burned out from hustle culture, because hustle culture is not innate to feminine energy. For desire of authenticity, ooh, this one I love. This I talk about a lot on the show, but I've never really connected it to the desire of authenticity. This is about putting down societal pressures to perform in a way that fits a mold versus performing in a way that feels like you. This is one of the major sort of linchpins to my exploration around feminine energy, especially in the professional space. Oh my God, I don't want my success. My success will flow and follow if I am so clear on what I want. I outline the steps to get there that feel authentic to me, and I move forward with confidence and trusting that it'll all work out. I no longer need to live and die with my worth by sales goals and revenue pressures and timelines and expedited timelines. It's all going to work out, and I trust it, and I am more dedicated than ever to doing so. Some other interesting ones are change in gender dynamics. So yes, we have a seat at the boardroom, but we want power and softness, ambition and alignment. Wellness and spirituality trends. I think everyone's feed is probably full of sort of the notion of wellness and spirituality, as well as social media influence around what does it mean to be feminine. I think these are all really trending. And so here we are right here. So really, my promise for this episode, as you guys know, I like to take a step back after giving an intro and be like, okay, why are we here? I would love to share my curiosity with all of you and what I've researched and what I've found and sort of how it connects to my personal life, with the intention of sparking that curiosity in you too, to put down that heavy load and to soften more and to connect to who we are, and most importantly, to how we want to live. Hey, busy moms and aspiring entrepreneurs. If you want to learn how to build a high-income business in just 20 hours a week so you can enjoy more time with your kids, all while transforming yourself from overwhelmed to confident in just 90 days, then you need to check out my masterclass. I'm Betsy, a busy mom of 4 and a business coach obsessed with helping women just like you build thriving businesses that fit your life, not the other way around. After 20 years in marketing and building my own nonprofit and e-commerce business, I know exactly what it takes to go from overwhelmed to empowered. That's why I created my self-paced digital masterclass designed to help you move forward with clarity and confidence. So whether you're starting from scratch or recalibrating an existing business, my masterclass will take you from stuck and overwhelmed to simplified, organized, confident, and clear in your next steps. If you want to learn things like how to create a successful business that aligns with your personal life and brings you happiness, if you want to learn how to acquire the confidence and strategies needed to overcome self-doubt and thrive in your entrepreneurial journey, if you want to obtain the knowledge and tools to take control of your business finances with confidence, if you want to gain essential skills and strategies to effectively promote your business with confidence and ease, and if you want to discover practical strategies and systems to manage the challenges of entrepreneurship, then you should absolutely check out the 5-section self-paced digital masterclass from the Female Founders Academy. It's just $597, plus every course comes with free worksheets to guide you through. Learn on your own time, at your own pace, in the privacy of your home. So if you want to learn how to build a high-income business in just 20 hours a week so you can enjoy more time with your kids, all while transforming yourself from overwhelmed to confident in just 90 days, then visit writeyourownstory.co/FFA-courses or click the link in the show notes below. So let's dive in. Okay, I really have boiled this down to 3 points when it comes to sort of this notion of combining what it means to be a powerful female as well as within our feminine energy. So my point number 1, if you will, is more and more women are questioning the rise and grind mentality, realizing it's often leading to stress and diminishing mental health. So, I mean, this one hits me square in the solar plex. I could not agree more. 43% of women are consistently feeling burnout, and 75% of working moms are feeling constantly rushed. Let me tell you how much I hate feeling rushed. Okay. I am the problem. It's me, because I'm always late. So I'm always rushing. But at the end of the day, nothing will take me out of my feminine energy faster than feeling like I am overbooked, overscheduled, rushing from one thing to the next versus being able to slowly connect and be present to the task at hand. Oh gosh. So I think one of the examples, okay, I love this example, talking about rise and grind. let's pretend I was corporate Betsy still. So for 15 years, I was in the corporate world in marketing and advertising, consulting, both brand and advertising side. I lived and breathed corporate culture like it was my business and my job. I would, as soon as my alarm would go off and my eyes would open, I would check my email. I would check my email before rolling over and looking at my spouse. I would check my email before looking at social media, before looking at the weather, before checking in and making sure I'm still breathing. It was just, and then I would check my email before I would go to bed. I would say goodnight to my spouse. I would roll over. I would check my email. And then those would be the waking thoughts and the ending thoughts of my day, because there was something around this corporate culture of speed to email and speed to response was really equated with value. But from a feminine energy standpoint, all I want to do is sit for a sec. Well, first of all, I just want to be present. This is not how I want to start or end my day. I do not want to be on email when I'm home with my kids. I want to put my phone down and forget to take pictures because I'm so present, and making it Instagram worthy literally means nothing to me anymore. I just want to connect with my kids, or I just want to connect with the people that I'm sharing time with, or I just want to connect with the rest that I so desperately need and deserve. But this constant hustle, rise, grind, faster, harder. What I want is for the corporate culture, or for women in the corporate culture to be able to, and men, absolutely. But as it relates to feminine energy, be able to set boundaries around the fact that both with themselves and with their counterparts, to say, if it's an emergency, text me. Otherwise, I'm going to be present. So I'm refreshed for the next day. I also think that every response deserves genuine thought. So could I rapid fire respond to you something? Absolutely. Or could I sit and think about it for a second and give you a more thoughtful response? It will probably change the trajectory of the project or the business or whatever it may be. Yes, absolutely. That is so deserved. But this whole notion about rise and grind, it truly has such a long-term effect on our mental health that I want us all to check in with that and figure out what you can do in the short term to put some boundaries around your rise and your rest, so it is not a constant state of grind, and it is more focused on presence and being able to be the best at where your feet are, if that makes any sense. Okay. The second point that I wanted to discuss is women are craving a deeper connection with themselves. Feminine energy is often associated with being present and embracing emotions. So to me, one thing that I'm really had to explore, and this is almost feels silly to say out, embarrassing to say out loud. This to me is about saying my truth out loud versus people pleasing. Pause for a drink. So yeah, because that one deserves a drink. Delicious. Okay. So girls, you get this. How many times have you literally been like, sure, great, no problem, sounds good? I mean, literally those words are coded in us and come out lickety split, when really, truly, and honestly, you don't even notice we don't even notice anymore, right? We're like, yeah, sure, great, sounds good, no problem. Yep, I'll do it. Or how are you? Great. When like the so opposite sits within our body, and we have buried it so deep because we are so conditioned to people please, to rise to the occasion, to conform to whatever we think we need in order to get the seat at the table or promotion, that we say no to nothing. It is all yeses in some like single syllable version, except for no problem, around what it is that people are asking of us. And that has got to stop. 42% of women who are leaders feel they have to act differently to fit into professional environments, leading to feelings of inauthenticity. What? So when I say, sure, no problem, but really all I'm doing, I'm dying to get home and decorate for my twins' birthday party. I don't know, I made that up, but I mean, God, I'm sure that has been true at some point in my life. Or when I say, sounds good, when I so deeply disagree with the way that we are moving forward, but I've pushed back enough where I feel like, okay, I'm out of pushback. Then those small moments, you are abandoning your truth. And if you can't respect yourself enough to say your truth out loud, then how can you expect that respect from others and that truth from others if you can't be that way? This also affects how we show up in relationships or friendships or with our children. There's no boundaries. Women are just, yes, sure, no problem. Sounds great. I just want to be easy and people pleasy and like just to be accepted. And it's just, honestly, it's so much easier to be this way. But each time you don't actually just slow down for a sec, check in with yourself and be like, what do I actually want to respond? You're abandoning whatever truth, voice, anything is that exists within your mind and your body, and just agreeing with society for the sake of agreeing. And we just that takes a toll, ladies. And so my only recommendation, and the thing that I've been doing that has really, it gives me the stressies and it is hard to do. But before I do my auto text response or verbal response of, yep, sure, no problem, sounds great, let me, shapeshift and be just fine with this, I check in, I slow down, and I give my truthful response. And do you know what, you guys? Every single time it has worked out. No one has ever been like, oh my God. Every single time someone has met me exactly where I am and has been able to handle whatever tiny bit or big bit of truth that is a little bit in lack of accordance to what they just asked for, it is literally no problem. I mean, this could literally be, what do you want for takeout for the night? But how many times are like, whatever? That's many syllables, but you get me. Just pause and slow down and think about what you really want and go for it. But truly, especially in roles of leadership and when we are in this notion of being strong and we have done everything we can to get at the seat at the table or to carve our own path, that is when we need to settle in the most to who we are and abandon the people pleasing and lean into the gifts and the truth that we have been given. As you may know, Cincinnati Children's Hospital is near and dear to my heart. If you don't, check out the episode, A Story of Miracles, to be inspired. Not only did they save my daughter's life, but they've saved countless lives each and every day through their exceptional care, tireless research, and so much more. I wanted to find a creative way to not only support women, but to give back to the hospital I hold so dear. And I think I've come up with something really fun and exciting. Okay, I'm just going to shoot you straight here. One of the ways for a podcast to make money is for people to subscribe, aka contribute money to support the show. As exciting as a new way to make money is for me, I wanted to turn this into an opportunity for others. So if you choose to subscribe for as little as $3 a month, where you can cancel at any time, you can submit a friend or a women-owned business to get a special shout out on the podcast, and half of your subscription money will go directly to Cincinnati Children's, supporting their needs in life-saving research and care. This feels amazing to me because everybody wins. Your bestie, your business, the hospital, and the show are all being supported through this effort. Click the support our show link in the show notes today to not only get a shout out, but to support the #1 pediatric hospital in the world. Okay, last but not least, point number 3. Women want to shift from pushing and forcing things to happen to being more open to receiving energy and the flow of life. Oh my God, do I feel this so deeply. Deep sigh. Can I just take my hands off the wheel for how everything is going to work out and trust that everything is going to work out? I love this so very much. So I have found that 54% of women now define success more by inner fulfillment and work-life balance rather than traditional careers. Women are craving trust, flow, and receiving energy. 72% of women are practicing mindfulness, and they said it has helped them shift from that quote unquote controlling mindset to a trusting and receiving mindset. This has also been the absolute biggest game changer in my sort of feminine energy exploration. This does not disconnect me from my goals, my desires, my dreams, my intentions. This aligns me even more closely to it, because if you think about it, on one end of the spectrum, if you're not watching on YouTube, I'm making hand gestures. This is fun. But on one end of the spectrum, you have your intentions, goals, desires, dreams, right? Like, this is what you want. And now we're going to do a trajectory. My hand is going to the right. And that is how you get there. And at the end is the outcome. What you need to do is, the steps for how to get there. This is something that's so deeply on your heart. If it is, you've done the work, you've done the homework, you've done the this and then that. And so the steps that you need to get there, and you just have to let go of how it comes to you and trust that if you are staying true to yourself, staying true to your intention, that it will all work out. And the ability to receive something versus controlling exactly what you're going to get and how you're going to get it is so liberating as a woman. And let me tell you, again, I'm only a year into my study, but things come faster and things come better than I could have imagined. And for those that haven't, for those items or intentions or goals that haven't hit yet, I know with confidence that I'm well on the path, that I'm doing the work to get there. I'm owning my part and releasing how it comes to me. And I have full faith that it's all going to show up in a way that is intended for me to receive it. But oh my God, even at work, oh my God, absolutely at work, just being able to set my incredibly intentional goals and break down those steps to get there. But what has been incredibly liberating and has allowed me to soften into a way of peace and happiness and flow and dedication is to release exactly what I'm going to get and when I'm going to get it. I hope that's making sense. But this whole notion of taking your hands off the wheel for a sec. Okay, this can even be in your personal life. Okay, for all my marrieds out there, you are running the show at work. I believe 78% of women are in a career and running a home based on my research. Okay, so you're running the show at home. You are managing the schedules, you're filling out the forms, you're meal planning, you are washing the uniforms. I mean, you have got this whole ship tight and running smoothly, and you are working your butt off at work. But you are just craving a hot second of peace in your brain, right? I mean, anytime you go to get the shin guards together, it feels like a lion is chasing you down. I can fully relate. What if you said to your husband, "Oh my God, I'm so exhausted. I could not figure out dinners this week. Do you think that you could help me with that?" And then you have to let it go. You have to let go of what dinners they pick. You have to let go of if it's DoorDash every single night. You have to let go and you have to just be open to receiving someone else helping you in a way that is all going to be just fine. I'm telling you, by saying for just a second out loud what you need help with, and especially letting a man, as we're much talking about, we are feminine and strong, but we also crave softness. Allow us to be in our softness, allow them to be in their leadership, and just delegate without control, which is so hard for us moms, and just let it go for how it gets there and enjoy the ride. Enjoy the rest, enjoy the ride, and let it go. I would love for all of you to experiment in that way and shoot me DM or email me or whatever it may be and let me know how it goes. Because I also feel like there's some awesome blooper highlight reels that might come out of this, but it doesn't matter. It's been, the mental load is off your plate. You've been able to laugh it along the way. Your kids are alive and well. Bellies are full, for example. It all works out. Okay, that is my 3 main points that I wanted to hit when I explore feminine energy. I really put a lot of thought into how I wanted to wrap this up. So I'm going to read this. I'm sure there's typos in here, but you got to love me anyway. But I thought a lot about this. Really has been a year-long journey for me for connecting into what it means to be a strong female and to be a leader, but also to soften into a way that's sustainable for me. So tap, tap, tap on the mic. Here comes my conclusion. I have to say, I've never been so dedicated to all aspects of my life, but I no longer am burning the candle at both ends, burying myself in work, my kids, and my marriage, and then overcommitting to social plans just to feel like I had a life where rest was being completely frowned upon and success being measured by the number of things I accomplished in a day. Family memories on Instagram and promotions I received at work. Those were my tickets to success. Those were my measures. To be clear, I did all of this to myself because that's what society told me to do. And I bought into every single bit of it. I take full responsibility for living life that way. But all I know is since I quote unquote gave up on traditional life and started creating my own life based on my own rules, filled with curiosity and intuition and passion, as well as self-care and joy and balance and intention with the goals of building the most successful company I can literally imagine just in 20 hours a week while doing something I absolutely love so that I can spend as much quality time raising these kids, investing in quality relationships and plans that really matter to me, holding myself accountable for how I show up and enjoying the ride as much as possible. I just can't even begin to explain to you how happy I am. Yes, I lead, I build, I strategize, I project financials, I host, I teach, I manage employees, I sit on a board, I plan for my family, I coordinate schedules, I fill out 1,000 forms, I run a home, and I have a social life. But most importantly, I do it differently now. I do it from a place of creativity, of play, of curiosity, intention, a love of rest, presence, and unwavering faith that it's all going to work out because you know what? It always does. And I stick to my boundaries that I've set around my time and most importantly, around my thoughts. Do I still have shit moments? Absolutely. Do I still get overwhelmed? Do I still get triggered and scared? Literally, probably every single day. Just as my circle of besties can absolutely attest because boy, oh boy, do they hear it. But leaning into this feminine energy and all that it stands for has given me the capacity to hold space for those hard things and still make each day a beautiful ride nonetheless. So, if you're curious about feeling less stressed, burned out, disconnected, and forceful, consider leaning into some of the things we've discussed here today. Creativity, play, being truthful, leaning into your intuition, being curious, and allowing things to flow to you, and see where it takes you. I'm rooting for you. Okay, you guys, I know they're always quick ones when it's just me, but this is a topic that is so dear to my heart. And this was kind of a tricky one to explore because I do take such pride in my identity as a feminist, as a leader, as a businesswoman. And I also now take so much pride in the curiosity that I have around what does that mean to do from a softer place. So I hope this has inspired your curiosity too, that you can explore, weaving in some of the things that we've talked about today. And most importantly, that you don't feel alone if you are feeling this way as well and struggle with the balance of I'm a boss babe, I got my seat at the table, but boy, oh boy, would I like to soften and live a more authentic way. If this episode has helped you, I would love to hear it. This kind of stuff is so helpful to get your feedback on. And if you know a girl out there who could use this, please, please, please share this episode because I'm truly here to serve. All right, you guys. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Well, that's the end of this episode, but promise me, you won't stop here with whatever it is you're feeling or dreaming about. I hope you leave today feeling empowered to live life just as you see fit. If this podcast was helpful to you, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review on whatever platform you're listening on. I genuinely just want to help women live the life they dream about. So if this type of content tracks with you, subscribe to this podcast or visit our website, writeyourownsstory.co, to download digital courses or to grab a journal and a mug to just dream in and dream with. It's your life, lady. Do you. And just remember, I'm rooting for you and you've totally got this.